So you asked us to really dig into David Back's The Automatic Millionaire, the updated version. You wanted that shortcut to financial freedom, something that cuts through all the noise out there. Okay, what if I told you that in maybe just an hour or two, you could learn a system to slowly but, surely transform your financial future? And here's the thing. It requires no budget, no real discipline, and you could start with less than $10 a day. Sound interesting?
It really does. And that's exactly our mission here today. We're diving deep into this book, The Automatic Millionaire, to pull out the absolute best nuggets of wisdom, those surprising facts. Think of it as your shortcut to getting genuinely well-informed about a really practical path to financial freedom.
Yeah, exactly. And this deep dive, it's custom tailored just for you, our listener. We're here to distill everything down into clear, actionable steps, find those big aha moments, all while, keeping it engaging and definitely respecting your time. Okay, let's unpack this then. Back kicks things off by introducing us to his first automatic millionaires, Jim and Sue McIntyre. Now, these folks, they were by all accounts a pretty average couple.
Right. Totally relatable. Jim was like a middle manager at a utility company.
Yeah.
And get this, he retired at 52.
52, that's young.
It really is. Yeah. And Sue, she was a beautician. She actually planned to keep working until 60, but as we'll find out, she absolutely didn't need to, financially speaking.
It almost sounds, well, too good to be true, doesn't it? You hear average couple, modest income, but then nearly $2 million in net worth. How? What was the actual game changer for them? The thing that made it possible?
That's the million-dollar question, maybe literally. Because, yeah, their situation totally challenges how we usually think about wealth. You'd assume, okay, high earners, right. But nope, their combined income the year before Bach met them, a surprisingly modest $53,946.
$53,000, that's it.
That's it. But listen to this. 0 credit card debt. Kids grown, out of college, off the payroll. Yeah. And they own 2 homes, mortgage-free.
2 homes, free and clear.
Yep. Their main house was about $450,000 and a rental property valued at $325,000. And that's not all.
Keep going.
Jim had a hefty $610,000 in his 401k. Sue had $72,000 in her own retirement accounts. Plus, they had $160,000 in municipal bonds and $62,500 just sitting in cash.
Wow. So you add all that up.
You're looking at a net worth approaching $2 million. A stark contrast, like you said, to what you might expect from that income level.
So, okay, if it wasn't some massive salary, what was the secret? You mentioned pay yourself first earlier, which sounds simple. Almost too simple. Was there something more to how they actually did it? Something maybe most people miss?
It's exactly the point. Pay yourself first. Everyone's heard it, right? But the magic is in the how. They told Bach they actually tried budgeting early on.
Like most people do.
Exactly. And like most people, they found it just led to arguments, frustration. It wasn't working for them. So you know what they did? They just tossed the budget completely.
Just threw it out.
Gone. Instead, their method was dead simple. Automatically set aside a chunk of their pay before they even saw it. It went straight to savings and investments.
Ah, the automation piece.
That's the key.
Yeah.
They started small, just 4% of their income. Then, as they earned more, they nudged it up gradually. On average, it was about 10%, but eventually they hit 15%.
15% automatically saved.
Right. And their core principle, the thing they live by, you can't spend what you don't see. Simple as that. Their priorities were crystal clear.
Yeah.
Retirement savings, buying a home, no complex spreadsheets, no agonizing over every penny, no willpower needed, really, just that automation.
That's incredibly powerful, and it really brings us to a critical idea in the book. It's maybe not just about how much you earn, but really how much you spend. That dictates your financial future, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So many people are stuck in what Bach calls the rat race. You know the drill. Work, make money, spend money, back to work. Wash, rinse, repeat.
And the stats are frankly pretty bleak. I saw one from the American Savings Education Council. 57% of American workers have less than $25,000 saved.
Oof, that's rough.
It gets worse. 1 in 3 have 0 savings. And the average credit card debt, something like $8,400. It's easy to see how people feel stuck.
And this is where the whole concept of the latte factor comes roaring in. Bach uses this great story about Kim, a 23-year-old student. She insisted, it's impossible. I can't save $5 or $10 a day.
Famous last words, right?
You bet. So Bach sat down with her and broke down her daily small stuff, things she didn't even think about, like a $3.50 double non-fat latte.
The classic latte.
Exactly. And a $1.50 muffin before work. Then, mid-morning, maybe a $3.95 juice, plus like a $1.50 ginkgo biloba boost.
Okay, I see where this is going. It adds up.
It adds up really fast.
And the numbers that Box showed, Kim, the ones that honestly hit me pretty hard when I first read them, they were just staggering. That $5 a day she thought was nothing. What could it actually become?
Okay, get ready for this. If she saved just that $5 a day, starting at age 23 all the way to 65, assuming a reasonable 10% annual return.
Which is historically achievable in the market long term.
Right. That $5 a day could grow to nearly $1.2 million.
$1.2 million from $5 a day.
But wait, like they say on TV, there's more.
Oh.
If her company offered a typical 50% 401k match on that savings, which many do, that figure jumps.
How much?
Approximately $1.74 million.
Whoa.
Her reaction was priceless. My lattes are costing me nearly $2 million. It's a huge wake-up
It
snap.
really is. And it's not just lattes, obviously.
Obviously. It's just a symbol for any of those small, regular expenses we barely notice. Think about cigarettes. A $7 pack in New York City. That's over $2,500 a year.
25 grand over a decade, just on cigarettes.
Or bottled water, sodas, fast food lunches. It all fits the latte factor mold. And the long-term impact. The book has these charts. They're mind-blowing. Saving just $5 a day, that's $150 a month, could give you almost $950,000 in 40 years of that 10% return.
Nearly $1 million.
Double it. $10 a day, $300 a month. You're looking at almost $1.9 million over 40 years.
Okay, now we're talking serious money.
And for a couple, if they could find $20 a day between them maybe cutting back on eating out or impulse buys, that's $600 a month, potentially almost $3.8 million in 40 years.
$3.8 million. It's almost hard to comprehend from just $20 a day. So here's the challenge for you listening. Could you find, what is that? Less than 1 hour's worth of your pay each day to pay yourself first.
That's the core question.
Back suggests this latte factor challenge. Just track everything you spend for one single day. See where the money's really going. Nowadays, it's even easier, right? You've got tools like mint.com for tracking.
Yep, simplifies it a lot.
Or even things like acorns.com, which automatically invests your spare change from purchases. It rounds up and invests the difference. Kind of automates finding out a latte factor. Have you ever tried tracking like that?
I have, and there's a great story Bach tells about this national radio host. He was super skeptical about the whole latte factor thing.
Yeah, I bet. Not my money.
Exactly. But he took the challenge, tracked his spending for a week, and he was, in his own words, sickened to realize he was spending $50 a day just eating out.
$50 a day.
Yep. That's $16,800 a year. And this was a guy in his 40s, had less than $20 saved up, hadn't put a dime in his 401k for almost 10 years.
Wow. So the latte factor.
It hit him hard. And guess what? It finally pushed him to start contributing to his 401k again. It really does shift your perspective when you see the numbers laid out.
That story perfectly illustrates why traditional budgeting just, well, it fails for so many people, doesn't it?
It really does.
Bach says it's just not fun. And let's be honest, it isn't. It feels restrictive. It goes against our human nature, We're constantly bombarded, like thousands of times a day, with messages telling us to spend.
Right, marketing is everywhere, pushing consumption.
So trying to fight that with a strict budget, it's like going on a super restrictive diet. Eventually you just
You binge. You break. It's almost inevitable for most people. You're fighting an uphill battle against your own impulses and constant advertising.
Exactly. And it's the opposite of what most people do, right? Bach calls it financially backwards thinking.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Paying everyone else, first the landlord, the credit card companies, Uncle Sam, and then just hoping there's something left over at the end of the month to save for yourself.
Which usually means not much or nothing.
Precisely. And let's face it, the other ways people fantasize about getting rich. Winning the lottery, marrying into money, inheriting a fortune, suing someone. They're either incredibly unlikely or, frankly, kind of problematic routes.
Definitely.
Not exactly reliable financial planning.
Okay, so if budgeting is a struggle and lottery tickets aren't a strategy, what's the answer? It comes back to the McIntyres, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. The simple, elegant, powerful solution. Pay yourself first.
Pay yourself first.
Think about it. The government figured this out ages ago. Since 1943, with tax withholding, they've made sure they get their cut maybe 30, 40 cents of every dollar you earn before you even see it.
It just disappears from the paycheck. You never really had it to spend.
Exactly. They mastered the pay yourself first principle on a massive scale. If the government can do it so effectively, Why can't we do it for ourselves?
Good question. So how do we do it? How do we legally copy the government strategy for our own benefit?
The beauty is you absolutely can. And the main tool is using pre-tax retirement accounts. Things like your 401k at work, or maybe a 403b if you're in education or a nonprofit, or an IRA if you're self-employed or don't have a workplace plan.
Okay, so the money comes out before taxes.
Right. Which leads to a really thought-provoking question back poses. How many hours did you actually work for yourself last week?
Meaning, how many hours worth of pay went directly into savings or investments for my future?
Exactly. And the answer for most people is, well, it's kind of shocking. Most people work less than 1 hour a week for themselves.
Less than an hour out of 40 or 50 or more?
Yep. The average, back found, was just 22 minutes a day worked for oneself. It's a sobering thought when you frame it like that.
It really is. So the recommendation then from Bach, and really from us after looking at this, is to make a conscious commitment. Decide you're going to work at least 1 hour a day for your own future.
That's the goal. 1 hour out of 8, typically.
And what does that translate to in percentage terms? It means saving, automatically, a minimum of 10% of your gross income, your income before taxes, into one of those pre-tax retirement accounts.
10% minimum.
And think about the cost of not doing that, the cost of not paying yourself first. Let's take someone earning, say, $50,000 a year. That's pretty average. Not saving just $14 a day, which is roughly that 10%, could mean missing out on, wait for it, $1.67 million over 35 years, assuming that 10% return.
$1.67 million. Just by not setting aside $14 a day.
It reframes everything, doesn't it? It's not about the small sacrifice now. It's about the enormous potential gain later.
Absolutely. So Bach provides a sort of guideline, a pay yourself first formula based on percentages, depending on your financial goals.
Okay, lay it out for us.
Roughly, saving 5 to 10% puts you on track for a solid middle-class retirement. Bump that up to 10 to 15%, and you're looking more towards upper middle class. Want to be genuinely rich, aim for 15 to 20%.
And if you want to retire early, like Jim McIntyre at 52.
Then you're probably looking at 20% or even more. But the fascinating thing, the thread that ties it all together, is the automation. That's the key. The McIntyre secret, and the secret for anyone, is making it happen without thinking. You can't spend what you don't have in your pocket, right? It takes willpower completely out of the equation.
Okay, so we get it. Pay yourself first is powerful. The latte factor shows us where the money can come from. Automation is the engine. But how do you apply this systematically across your whole financial life? How do you make it foolproof, like Bach promises? What's the master key?
The master key is exactly that. Make. Automatic. Set it and forget it. That's the mantra. And Bach breaks this down into 4 really critical areas of your financial life that you need to automate.
4 areas. Okay, what's number 1?
Number 1, the big one, automating retirement wealth. We touched on this, but let's really nail it down. Those employer plans, 401k, 403bs, they're not just convenient. They have like 2 superpowers.
Superpowers. I like the sound of that.
First, the employer match. This is literally free money. If your employer offers a match and you're not taking it, you are leaving money on the table, period. It's crazy not to get the full match.
Absolutely. Rule number 1, always contribute enough to get the full match.
Always. Superpower number 2 is the magic of tax-deferred compound interest. Your money grows faster because you're not paying taxes on the gains each year. It turns even small contributions into potential fortunes over decades. These aren't just features, they're the engine driving your automatic wealth creation.
And Bach pushes for increasing those default enrollment rates, right? Because often they're really low.
Shockingly low sometimes, like under 4%. And he loves the automatic increase feature. You set it up so your contribution percentage bumps up automatically by, say, 1% each year. You barely notice it, but it makes a huge difference over time.
Like that story of Donna and Mark. They put in $5,000 a year, but because it was pre-tax, it only felt like about a $3,500 hit to their take-home pay.
Exactly. Less than $5 a day out of pocket, effectively, thanks to the tax savings. And think about Larry and Robert, the guys who got downsized. Larry had maxed out his contributions consistently. Robert hadn't. The difference in their 401k balances, nearly $500,000, just from disciplined, automatic saving.
That's a powerful lesson. What about folks without those workplace plans?
Good question. That's where individual retirement accounts, IRAs, come in. You've got the traditional IRA, where you might get a tax deduction now, and the Roth IRA, where contributions aren't deductible, but qualified withdrawals in retirement are tax-free. Both are great tools.
And setting these up isn't hard anymore, right? With robo-advisors?
Not at all. Platforms like Betterment, Wealthfront, they make it incredibly easy. Low fees, automated investing based on your goals, and risk tolerance. You can set up automatic monthly transfers and they handle the rest.
Okay, so retirement savings, automated, check. But life happens, right? Unexpected car repairs, medical bills. What's the next thing Bach says we absolutely must automate?
That brings us to the second critical area. Automating a rainy day fund. This is your financial safety net, your emergency cushion. Ideally, you want 3 months' worth of essential living expenses saved up, maybe even 6 if you can manage it.
But so many people have nothing, as we said earlier.
Exactly. It's vital. Grandma Bach's wisdom holds true. When the going gets tough, the tough have cash. Having that cushion prevents you from derailing your long-term goals or going into debt when emergencies strike.
So where do you keep this emergency money? Not stuffed under the mattress, I hope.
Please, no.
Mm.
And not just in your regular checking or a standard low-interest savings account either. You want it safe and accessible, but you also want it working at least a little bit for you.
So what's the recommendation?
High-yield online savings accounts are often the best bet. Banks like Ally, Marcus by Goldman Sachs, Capital One 360, Everbank, they typically offer much better interest rates than traditional brick-and-mortar banks.
Yeah.
But your money is still FDIC insured and easy to access.
Makes sense. Keep it liquid, but get a better return.
Exactly. U.S. savings bonds like I-bonds or E-bonds bought through treasurydirect.gov can also be safe options, sometimes offering good inflation protection. The key, again, is automatic contributions. Set up a recurring transfer from your checking account every month or every payday.
And
Crucially, keep this emergency fund separate from your everyday checking account, out of sight, out of mind. Don't make it easy to dip into for non-emergencies. Build a wall around it.
got it. Financial fortress for emergencies. Automated. Check.
Oh.
Okay. Retirement's covered. Emergencies are covered. But for many people, the big dream, the ultimate financial goal, is owning a home. How does automation fit into making that happen?
Yes, the third area. Automating debt-free homeownership. It's a cornerstone of wealth for many. There's that old saying, landlords get rich, renters stay poor, and statistically, homeowners are significantly wealthier. Bach cites figures showing they're 36 times richer than renters on average.
36 times. Why is owning a home so powerful financially?
Several reasons. First, it's like a forced savings plan. Every mortgage payment builds equity. Second, you get leverage. You control a large asset with a relatively small down payment, magnifying potential gains. Third, you're using OPM, other people's money, from the bank. Fourth, there are significant tax breaks, like deducting mortgage interest and property taxes. Fifth, there's pride of ownership. And sixth, historically, real estate has provided solid returns. Bach mentions a 5.3% annual average since 1968.
Okay, but what about getting started? The down payment hurdle is huge for many first-time buyers.
True, but there are options. Government-backed programs like FHA loans often require much lower down payments. VA loans for veterans can sometimes be zero down. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac also have programs. It's worth investigating these if a big down payment is the main obstacle.
Right. Now, once you have the mortgage, the McIntyres had that clever trick for paying it off faster, right?
They did. It's brilliant in its simplicity. Instead of making one monthly mortgage payment, they set up a bi-weekly payment plan. They paid half their monthly payment every 2 weeks.
So, half every 2 weeks. There are 26 two-week periods in a year.
Exactly. So that adds up to 26 half payments, which equals 13 full monthly payments over the course of the year, instead of the standard 12.
Ah, you sneak in one extra payment per year without really feeling it.
Precisely. And that one extra payment, it can slash years, often 5 to 10 years off a 30-year mortgage. And the interest savings can be enormous, potentially over $50,000, depending on the loan size and rate. It's like putting your mortgage payoff on autopilot fast forward.
That's fantastic. Are there other ways to do it if a formal biweekly plan isn't easy to set up or has fees?
Yes, 2 simple, no-fee alternatives. 1, just add an extra 10% to your regular monthly payment each month. 2, simply make one extra full mortgage payment sometime during the year, maybe when you get a tax refund or a bonus.
And the crucial thing with any extra payment is
Make absolutely sure, double-check with your lender, that the extra amount is being applied directly to the principal balance, not just prepaying next month's interest. That's essential for it to actually shorten the loan term and save interest.
okay, homeownership automation and acceleration. Check. But there's often one big, ugly monster lurking that prevents people from saving, investing, or even thinking about homeownership, and that's consumer debt, the fourth area.
You nailed it. Area number 4, automating the debt-free lifestyle. Credit card debt, especially, is just a beast. Americans owe something like $500 billion on cards, with the average household carrying around $8,400.
And the interest rates are often brutal.
Brutal is the word. Paying only the minimum on that $8,400 balance, if the interest rate is, say, 18%, it could take you over 30 years to pay it off, and you'd end up paying more than $20,000 in interest alone.
20 grand in interest on an $8,400 debt? That's sickening.
It is. Bach gives another example. That tempting 10% off your purchase today offer if you open a store credit card. Seems like a deal, right? But if you carry a balance and only make minimum payments, that 10% savings could end up costing you double the original purchase price in interest over maybe 13 years.
Ouch. Okay, so how do we automate our way out of this debt trap? Bach has steps, right?
He does. 5 key steps to becoming debt-free and making them automatic is crucial. Step 1. Stop digging the hole deeper. Cut up the cards, literally. Get rid of the temptation.
Cold turkey. Okay. Step 2.
Renegotiate your interest rates. Call your credit card companies. Talk to a supervisor. Tell them you're considering transferring the balance to a lower rate card. You'd be amazed how often they'll lower your rate just to keep you. Even a few percentage points can save you a bundle.
Worth a try. What's step 3?
Pay for the past. Pay for the future. Remember that pay yourself first money, that 10% or more. If you have high interest debt, Bach suggests splitting it, at least initially. Put maybe half towards your retirement savings. Don't stop saving entirely. And the other half towards aggressively paying down that debt.
Okay. Split the focus. Then step 4, this is the daily LP thing, right?
Yes, DALP stands for Done on Last Payment. This is Bach's clever twist on the debt snowball or avalanche method. Instead of just focusing on the highest interest rate, avalanche, or the smallest balance, snowball, you look at the ratio, balance divided by minimum payment.
Balance divided by minimum payment. Okay, why that ratio?
You find the card with the lowest result for that ratio. That's the card where your minimum payment is making the least progress against the actual balance. That's the one you attack first with all your extra debt reduction money for step 3.
Why that one?
Because paying that card off completely usually happens relatively quickly. It gives you a fast win, a psychological boost. You feel like you're making progress. And once it's paid off, you take that minimum payment you were making plus your extra payment amount and roll it all onto the card with the next lowest DOLP ratio. It builds incredible momentum. It's kind of Bach's secret sauce for debt reduction.
BOLP. Got it. Attack the lowest balance minimum payment ratio first for quick wins and momentum. And the final step, step 5.
Make it all automatic. Set up automatic payments from your bank account or use online bill pay. Automate the minimum payments on all cards except the one you're targeting with DOLP. Automate the extra payment to that target card. Take the decision-making and the remembering to do it out of the equation.
Set it and forget it, even for debt reduction. That's a really comprehensive plan. Okay, we've automated retirement, emergencies, homeownership, and debt freedom. Seems like we've covered the core financial bases. But Bach adds one more layer, doesn't he? Something beyond just accumulating wealth for ourselves.
He does, and it's a really thoughtful point. He asks, what if the true feeling of richness isn't just about how much money you have, but also about the joy and abundance that comes from giving it away? This brings us to the idea of tithing, or charitable giving.
Tithing, making giving automatic too.
Exactly. Tithing is this ancient, timeless practice found in many traditions, setting aside a portion, traditionally 10%, to give back, to support causes you believe in. Bach and many others find that this act of giving actually brings a profound sense of joy and seems to attract more abundance into their lives. It shifts your mindset from scarcity to sufficiency.
And Americans are pretty generous already, aren't they?
Incredibly generous. Bach notes that Americans donated over $358 billion in the year he was writing the updated edition. It's a huge part of the culture. His encouragement is you don't have to start 10%. Maybe start small, which is 1% of your income. But the key, like everything else, make it automatic. The more you give consistently, the wealthier you tend to feel.
So how do you automate giving? Is there a plan for that too?
Yep, a simple 5-step plan for automatic tithing. First, commit in writing. Decide on a percentage you're comfortable with and write it down. Second, make it automatic. Set up a recurring donation through payroll deduction as possible, or a direct debit from your bank, or even a recurring charge to a credit card, as long as you pay it off.
Okay, commit and automate. What's next?
Third, research the charity. Make sure your money is being used effectively. You want organizations where a high percentage, ideally 75% or more, actually goes to the cause, not just overhead. Resources like justgive.org or charitynavigator.org can help you vet charities.
Good point. Research matters. Step 4.
Fourth, keep track. Keep good records of your donations for tax time. as charitable contributions are often tax-deductible.
Right, get that tax benefit. And finally,
Fifth, consider advanced strategies if appropriate. Things like donor-advised funds, maybe through places like Fidelity Charitable or Schwab Charitable, can be great tools, especially if you want to donate appreciated assets like stocks and get a bigger tax advantage.
interesting. Automating generosity.
And there's a really inspiring story Back shares about Sir John Templeton, the legendary investor. When he was young, earning only $50 a week, he started tithing then. He made it a lifelong habit, went on to become a billionaire, and was one of the world's greatest philanthropists. It underscores the power of starting early and being consistent, even with giving.
Wow. Okay, so bringing this all home then, we've covered a lot of ground. What does this all mean for you, the listener, right now? It means you essentially have a complete blueprint, right?
Exactly, a path forward.
Let's quickly recap those 7 key automatic action steps. These really form the core of Bach's foolproof, no-brainer, set it and forget it financial plan.
Hit me.
1. Pay yourself first automatically into retirement. Aim for that 10, maybe 12.5% or more of your gross income.
Check.
2. Deposit your paycheck automatically. Direct deposit. Simple.
Check.
3. Fund your rainy day emergency account automatically. Build up those 3 to 6 months of expenses.
Crucial. Check.
4. Fund your dream account automatically. Got a specific goal, like a new car, down payment, big vacation? Automate savings for that, too.
Yep, check.
5. Pay your credit card bills automatically, at least the minimums on everything, and then automate those extra DOLP payments to knock out debt faster.
Debt destruction. Check.
6. Pay all your other monthly bills automatically. Fix bills like rent or mortgage via direct debit. Variable bills like utilities, maybe set up on auto pay through a credit card that you pay off.
Smooth operations. Check.
And 7. Give to charity automatically. Implement that tithing plan.
The final piece. Check.
That's the blueprint. 7 steps to automate your entire financial life.
And the amazing thing Back stresses is that setting most of this up, it genuinely takes less than an hour for most people. A few clicks online, maybe one form for payroll. It's not complicated.
And tools like Mint.com or similar apps can help you see it all in one place, right? Track the progress, watch the investments grow, see the debt shrink, all without having to constantly fiddle with it.
Exactly. Effortless tracking once it's set up.
Look, the bottom line here is you deserve to live and finish rich. That's Bach's core message. This system, it's simple, it's proven by people like the McIntyres, and it's totally accessible to you. The real power lies in your decision to just start. Start now.
Absolutely. And don't feel overwhelmed like you have to do all 7 steps tomorrow. Even if you just implement 1 or 2 of these automatic steps, maybe finally getting that 401k match or starting that automatic emergency fund transfer, it will make a significant difference.
Something is better than nothing.
Definitely. But the question Bach leaves you with is powerful. Why not automate everything financial in your life? Give it a try. If, for some reason, you don't like the results, less stress, more savings, growing wealth, you can always go back to whatever chaotic system you were using before. What have you got to lose?
That's a great point. Imagine that life for a second. No more constant money stress, knowing you're steadily, automatically building wealth, becoming an automatic millionaire, and maybe, just maybe, you even take it a step further. Maybe you teach your friends, your family how to do it too, so they can join you on this journey.
That's the ultimate goal, right? Spreading financial well-being. And we and David Bach really encourage you to share your own stories, your successes, your challenges as you implement this. You can email success@finishrich.com. And you can find tons of inspiration from others who've done it at www.finishrich.com. Find yourself success. Real people like Anna Hoffman, Teresa K. Long, Amanda Salgado, Chris Kessler, their stories are all there.
Fantastic. Definitely check those out for motivation.